Thanks for staying with us. We're moving on now to Daily Sun. Pro-Natasha women groups begin mass protest today. Senate asks INEC to fill vacant Senate seats in Edo and Anambra. Again, Fubara assures of full implementation of Supreme Court judgment. Imo 2028 Guba. Uzodima vows to implement Charter of Equity. Insist on a Owerri zone. NSITF strengthens commitment to workers' welfare. Edo government accuses PDP leaders of sponsoring kidnapping in state, and 68 million poor Nigerians in social register, says federal government. Okay, story? Who has any story there?
Okay, so the story I have in Daily Sun is about the fact that NST, that's the NSITF, the Nigerian Social Insurance Trust Fund, Mr. Oluwaseun Falaye, has reiterated the agency's commitment to workers' welfare. So in order to achieve that, they requested a 25 million naira compensation check that they've presented a 25 million naira compensation check to members of the National Assembly, Staff Assembly, and they emphasize that the fund is to accelerate compensation processes and heighten sense of responsibility. So many people complain about when things go wrong, the compensation comes so late that the effect is not being felt. So the clerk to the National Assembly, Kamoru Ogunlano, has commended the NSTIF for its commitment to supporting Nigerian workers and prompt response to the disbursement of benefits. And of course, we had many people attending the ceremony, but in case you don't understand, the real issue is paying compensations faster. We have workers that maybe lose their lives, get injured, or the insurance doesn't come through as fast as it could because they don't have enough funds to support them. This way, we have a pool of funds available to to fasten the disbursement of compensation to people that need it, workers that need it. So it's a good step in the right direction. Okay, so I have the story here. The federal government has captured 68 million poor Nigerians in the National Social Register. So according to the National Social Safety Net Coordinating Office, I think is run by, let's see, I think Miss Fumi Olotu, says that they have so far captured 68 million Nigerian poor. If you recall, anytime there's this social welfare or this cash transfer, Nigerians always ask, how do you know who you're giving to? Where are the vulnerable communities that you're giving out this money? So what they've done is to get a database of all poor Nigerians who are living obviously under the poverty line and the vulnerable communities, to identify who they are, where they live in, and so that when they do the cash transfers, they can know exactly who gets it. So the NASCO disclosed this in the verified social media handle on Instagram. The agency also explained that the figure represented a total of 19 million vulnerable households across the 36 states and the FCT. The idea behind the NSR is to create a comprehensive database of poor and vulnerable households in the country. This is to assist governments to design, coordinate, and integrate social safety net programs into social protection systems, including the distribution of conditional cash transfer. Mr. Lotsu said in her mission statement that the National Register would ensure that social protection initiatives are targeted to only impactful and evidence-based communities. So I'm happy about that, because we always worry about who is actually getting these monies, and I'm happy that Nigeria it's been captured in this database. Any other story in Daily Sun? No. Somebody has the protest said the pro-Natasha women groups begin mass protests today to demand justice for suspended senator. Pro-Akpabio protesters also demand harsher punishment for female lawmaker, and LP youth seek Tinubu's intervention. This is getting, it's getting easier by the day.
The chairman House Committee on Ethics, Senate Committee on Ethics, has been indicted in the US for fraud. So everything is just messy.
Very messy.
There's no governance
before this clash leads to loss of lives or fighting happens, it will be interesting for us to guess where the funding comes up, because very rarely do you have protests in Nigeria without financial support. So if we can trace the account, we find who is funding.
Don't forget that each of them are political blocks. Yes. They have following. So your people can actually come together and show support and try. So this is that is only
funding matter.
It's a no-brainer.
Peaceful protest.
Yeah. Anyway, any other story? Should we move on now to Vanguard?
Yes,
Rivers Council, Fubara, Tinubu tells Niger Delta leaders. Council Fubara from Tinubu tells Niger Delta leaders. Let's find the story. Anger as herdsmen had bandits killed 42 in Benue and Nasarawa State and Ondo. Suspend hike in ATM transaction charges, reps tell CBN. And diphtheria at King's College, Lagos government begins vaccination. Okay, which story?
Yes, I have the story of suspending the hike in ATMs. So the story is that the House of Representatives have called for the immediate suspension of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN's new increase in ATM transaction fees. The resolution followed the fact that there was a plenary that took place in Abuja, and it was a motion moved by Marcus Onubo, and they said instead of this transaction that is saying 100 naira per 20,000 naira withdrawals using other ATMs, he has expressed worry that the new charges would limit financial inclusion, particularly for low-income earners. And they said that it contradicts the CBN's financial inclusion agenda. He also said that the bank continued to record significant profit without corresponding improvement in service delivery and infrastructure, making the new changes unjustified. So we're hoping to see, he said, customers have also complained about the implementation and how it hasn't really been effective. The charge of 100 naira, an additional surcharge of 500 naira, that citizens are already grappling with multiple economic hardship, including high inflation, increase in fuel price, electricity tariff, numerous banking service charge, and significant reduced disposable income and negative impact of economic welfare on people. That this is also an additional hardship. This is one time that we are supporting the House of Rep in their pressure against the CBN. This is one policy we want it to be suspended as quick as possible. I sent text message and I saw 6 naira. I said, text message has become 6 naira. Wow. Yeah. So these things have an impact, and we should really see how we can push it.
So in addition to what he said that the banks are recording profits. You know, they are making serious profit, and at the end of the day, they are not providing services. So they are not going hand in hand with what they are proposing and all. So let's
okay, who has diphtheria? Nobody took that story.
Well, I took the story as well.
In Lagos State.
took my story.
I have the kidnappers, the major headline. The Angas headsmen, yeah. So the report takes account of how bandits have attacked in Nasarawa. Farmers have been killed and kidnapped. Surveyors have been kidnapped in Ondo. Farmers have been killed, 42 in Nasarawa and Benue State. The accounts of how farmers worries me, because that's when we start to deal with food prices again. So they attacked farms in Benue State and killed a pregnant woman. They saying herders and bandits. There was hoodlums hijacked protests also in Omiri Council, according to the chairman. And it's just a sad story of everything. But the account of the government in the Ondo State is so painful. The special advisor to the governor is saying that the surveyors shouldn't have gone into the forest without police protection, and that they are at fault people for going. And he's also asking the people to go and cry out. And
usually there's mining involved in this thing. Let's just call it. So whenever you see banditry, it is areas where there are natural resources and minerals where mining is taking place. That's why they employ bandits to protect.
That's why we need government. In Osho, for instance, we know that mining is happening. Yeah. We need government to be on top of it. Government must ensure.
They are mining. All of them
government has data of all of this and protect.
We have to
and
wrap
prevent
up, but I
it.
think it's important I just mention this quick story about Lagos State has started vaccination exercise considering the diphtheria of students and staff of the King's College Annex in Victoria Island to prevent the spread of the highly contagious disease. This was following the outbreak disease which claimed the life of a 12-year-old student. Some parents have asked their child and wants to stay home. I didn't know about this story. Really sad. You guys
we took it
to that story.
Well, this is like an update.
Okay, so
but they've already, there are 34 of them are already, 34 contacts, people that we feel they've had contact with this. The primary person has been secluded. They said they've been placed in observation and 10 are receiving treatment for diphtheria. So at least there's speedy activities to combat it.
Let me go on a short break now. We come back, move on to our next special feature. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.